So yesterday we saw, let's see what we saw in the yesterday's class. We saw this is the index file. We call the app component and we use the app component. This is how we use the app component. Remember, all the components should have capital letter, starting should be capital letter, and all the HTML tags should be the small letter. And this is something we don't put in the single quote or double quote. It is directly integrated inside this. And this app comes from the app component. And in the app component, we create a component like this, app extends component. We create a render method. Inside the render method, we return the HTML tag. And this HTML tag should have the main div. And inside that, you can put n number of divs. But there should be one outer div. And we are exporting it so that from the index file, we can grab it. So let's move a little bit further. I can also put here something called as JavaScript expression. For example, I can start, but expression should be inside the curly bracket. So I can say curly bracket 1 plus 1. So this will evaluate equal to 2 and it will show as a 2. So we can test that. Let me start the npm start. So I'll go to the project 2 and I'll say npm start. So have I told you npm start yesterday? Have I told you what is the npm start? So whenever you have the project, you need to say npm start, and when you say npm start, the server will be started, and then you can browse it in the browser your project. So right now I'm inside project 2, so I'll be able to browse project 2. So let's let it start and we can see that in the browser. So I'm seeing hello brother 2. 2 is coming from 1 plus 1, which we put in the JavaScript expression. Let's say if I want to put some style sheet, for example, if I want to put h1 tag here, and inside h1 tag I will put hello world and h1 tag, and now here I want to put the style tag, for example style. Normally in HTML we can put this style like this, style equal to for example width 50 pixel, or font size, let's start with the font size equal to, maybe I can say 24 pixel or 48 pixel. And then I can put as a color, for example, white. So this is how we put the style in the normal HTML. But if you put here in the React, it will not work. See, it is giving some error kind of thing. And if I see the page, I'm getting the error. So it does not like this kind of structure. So to put the style sheet, before the return, I have to create a variable. For example, I'll create variable my style is equal to, it's an object, it should be an object, and inside this I will create the different key value pair. For example, I will say font size. See here, minus and s is there. Whenever you see minus and small letter, you have to put the capital letter. So it's saying minus and s, so you have to replace it with capital letter S. So I'll say font size equal to, for example, 50, and you don't put pixel, it will automatically append pixel itself. Just say 50 and put comma, and here say color. Color don't have any minus sign, so we put color directly, and here we put the color value, for example white, or I can say blue, and then here I will call this variable. So to call the variable, I have to put it in the curly bracket and I have to put the name of the variable. What is the name of the variable? My style. So how to call the variable inside this HTML part? To call the variable, we put the curly bracket on, curly bracket off, and we put this style here. So this is the appropriate thing, and you will see color will become blue. So if you want to put style tag, generally this is the way, but generally we will not put style tag. We will always create a class and then we will use class always inside here. If you want to, I'm just giving you this in the chat because this will be gone. No need to give in chat. I will give you one. You take down the notes, or I will give you one notes. If I have one notes from my old class, I will give you that one. So next is, if I want to do the commenting, if I want to do some commenting here, so how to do commenting? So I will say, let's remove the style tag, or let it keep it there. Let's keep the style tag. It looks good. So if I want to do comment in JavaScript, I have put single / for single line quote, one line comment, and for multi-line we use /* multi-line comment */. But this will not work here in React. I need to put it in the curly bracket. Then it will work. So anything JavaScript related inside this should come inside the curly bracket. All variables will come inside the curly bracket. Comment will come in the curly bracket. Now if I open the page, you won't see that comments because it's a comment. Where is that one? Now there is, if I want to put the class, let's say if I have some class in my CSS, I want to put that class. So generally in HTML, what we do, we say class equal to some name, for example, box1. So this is how we put class in all HTML tag. Now, but here class will not work. If I open the page, let's see in the console.log, you will see there is error because class is something like this. React considers class with this class, so it will not allow the class to be placed here. So instead of class, you have to say class name. So wherever you want to put the class, you should use class name, because this class is already defined here class, and it does not take two classes at one time. So you have to say class name. Now it will work. I am not getting any error. Similarly, if you remember, there is one property called as for in the HTML. We sometimes use for in the HTML. Do you know the for property in HTML?
I don't think I've used that.
Okay, so how to use that? Generally, we have the label, and inside label we put some text. For example, my hobby is this, for example, right? I will put label here, and then I have a checkbox input type equal to checkbox, and ID equal to, let's say, my ID, something, blah blah blah. Now when user clicks this checkbox will enable or disable. But if I want user should click this text also, then also this checkbox should enable and disable. Then I will create this for here, for equal to, I will put the ID here. So now when user will click this text, then also the checkbox will check and uncheck, because this for is related to this one by ID. So this is where we use for in HTML, but for is also used in the JavaScript for the for loop. So for will not work here in the React. So instead of the for, you have to say HTML capital F OR, HTML for. Then it will work, because now it is this is not the real HTML, this is the React HTML. Now if I open, okay, there is some problem. I have to close this one. So in React, You cannot keep the tag in the isolated form. That is, you have to close all the tag. Since I created this input tag, but I did not close it, so it was giving this error. So we need to close all the HTML tags. So I'll say slash here. Since the input does not have the ending tag, we close it by putting the slash here. And now it should work. Okay. I think there's one more error. I have HTML here. Div tag is closing here. Okay, looks good. Let me see what exactly is breaking. Okay, I'm using for here, that is breaking. Okay. Okay, now, so now if I click this checkbox, it is clicking, it's enabling the checkbox. If I click this text also, then also it is enabling and it is disabling. So this is because of the reason of HTML for. In normal HTML, we will use for, but in React, we have to use HTML for. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so for class, you will use class name. So whenever you copy something from the Bootstrap, you have to change all the classes to the class name. Otherwise, it will not work. Now, whatever I explained yesterday and today is described in this notes. So you can go through this notes. I am putting it in the chat. So you can go through and see all the things, whatever I explained today and yesterday. There may be some more lines in this article, but practical point of view, whatever it is there, I explained you. Since it is a note, so it may have some more points. So maybe you can ignore those points. You remember only what I explained in the class. So this is about the first part. Now let's go to the more detail. Now let's go to the index.js file. So right now I will go to now project 3 and I will stop the project 2. So let's go to project 3 and here I will run the npm start. So in the project 3, I have index.js. Let's work here in the index.js. So right now I will say I am writing something here. I will say constant element is equal to, this is the constant. We have learned what is the constant in ES6 of the JavaScript. So I'm saying constant element is equal to h1 tag hello world. And if you see this tag is neither HTML. This is something funny tag. This is not the HTML tag, right? Because in HTML we always have something in the single quote or double quote. We cannot put in the air directly putting the HTML in the air. So this is called HTML in the air, and this HTML in the air is called the JSX code. The language which we are using is JSX, created by the React developers. So this is called JSX code, and it is something kind of HTML inside the JavaScript. So we created a variable in the JavaScript and we use the HTML here. So it is neither the JavaScript nor the HTML. It is a combination of two, and it is called the JSX. And JSX has all the powers of JavaScript, plus it takes this kind of syntax. So this syntax is called as JSX code. Let's go further now with this JSX code. Now, if I put this element here, Okay, I'm putting this element here. Let's delete the app right now. I don't need app for now. And I will put only the element. So let's go to the browser. So you will see in the browser, I have the hello world. So what I'm doing, I'm creating the variable and I'm putting this variable inside this render one to display in this ID. That is the root. The element is what? Simple HTML wrapped in the JavaScript. And I can use this element. I can change it to anything. And here you will see the changes are happening. Hello world 2. So this is the variable created in JavaScript and we put it inside the React render one so that it should render in the page. Now let's go further and I will create one function in the JavaScript. So let's create a function format user and I will pass the user as a parameter inside it and user is the object like this. User is equal to object and object have first name, for example many, and I have last name, for example K. This is the format of the user is there. So I am returning user dot first name plus user dot last name. So I created a function. I pass some object and I'm returning the first name plus last name. Let's put space between the first name and last name. So it is a first name space last name. This is the return value. So whenever I do format user, it will return my first name space and the last name. This is the use of this function. Now I'll go down. I will create another user. I will create a object of the user. Constant user is equal to, I will create an object. So object should have first name. I can say Harper and I will put last name. I will say Paresh. This is the first name and last name. Now I will inject this user inside this format user. So I will say, I will create another variable called as element is equal to, I will put it in the round bracket and here I will put the HTML tag h1 and I will close h1 tag and here I will say hello and I will call the function. This function I have to call it. Since it is JavaScript function, I will wrap it inside the curly bracket and I will pass the variable user. This user I am passing it. So when I pass this user, format user will take this user and return user dot first name plus user dot last name. It will display it here. So ultimate result will be hello Harper Paris. This will be here instead of this function. Okay, so I created two with the same name, so it's giving error. So it's saying hello Harper Paris. So what I did, I created a normal JavaScript function. I created normal variable. I created an element in the JSX code where I put the HTML tag and I call the function inside this JSX code. So it replaced the function with the proper value of the function and rest all is HTML. So this is how the JSX work. We can take the JavaScript, we can take the HTML and we can combine both by using this syntax that is in the curly bracket and HTML directly inside the JavaScript. This is called the JSX code. So this is very powerful and it will help a lot in building lot of things in the React. Now let's go further. Okay. So there are small more basics related to this JavaScript and HTML, which I will not do it because those are not important right now. But sometime in future, I will show you what to do about those. I don't want to go into detail now because that's a lot of theory. what it does in the React kind of thing. Those are required kind of thing, but not now. Because right now we want to concentrate on the practical aspect of the React, and later on we will learn that theory sometime when we get time. So to understand what is the theory is same like this. I explained this, but there is some more detailed explanation of the theory. So maybe you can go to React website and see the document, read some theory about the React.js, which we will do cover in some other topic, another chapter. Let's right now work on the practical aspect of the React. I'm undoing everything. I'm going since, okay, this is what I can do. Okay, let's copy from the project 2 index file. This is my index file. It is called the app. Now app is, we have to define a component here in the app. So how to define a component? I already created a snapshot. And what is the snapshot? I copy it and paste it. So it is something kind import React component from the React. And I'll put the class name extend component and I put HTML here. Now let's build some practical thing here. I want to build something from the Bootstrap. So I will go to the Bootstrap and I will copy it. There's some template. So let's go and build this simple template. So if I want this to be in the React, I will go to the view source and I will take this navigation part first and I will put that navigation part in my HTML. So where should I put? I will put it inside here. I will put all the navigation part here and then I'll go here in this one and I will put this div tag. So this kind of commenting is not allowed in the React. So if it is something like this of commenting, you have to remove it. And I will put this div part here. So basically, I took this template and I integrated in this my page. I also need the Bootstrap file to be called because otherwise it will not work. It will not show the Bootstrap. So we will put Bootstrap in some time. 1 second. Okay, so now we have to do some changes here. So we have class here everywhere. So every class should be replaced by what? What should I replace class with what? I said replace class with what?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know.
Okay, it's a class name because class will not work. I will replace all. Not this first one. This is the class main class. So I replaced all with the class name. Second thing, I want to remove this comment because this comment will not work. Third thing which I want to do, you will see there is, yeah, pretty much all things are done now. I can run this and it will work fine, but I need to put the Bootstrap file. So let's go and grab the Bootstrap. Click the download and I will take the CDN location of the Bootstrap. This is the CDN location. And to put the Bootstrap, there are a couple of methods to include this Bootstrap. Let's do one method now and some method we will do, another method we will do later on. So I will go to the public folder. Inside the index.html, I will put the Bootstrap CSS file. All CSS file we can put inside this index.html. So anything reference which we reference mostly some outside CSS file, like this is the Bootstrap, we put it in the index.html. So just remember now, CSS can be put inside the index.html. So I am putting the Bootstrap file here. I put navigation and all from the Bootstrap here. And now I will run this file to see how it works. So it has error. Let's see what is the error. BR tag is not having closing tag. I told you, remember, that all the tags should have closing tag. Now here there is some BR tag which is not closing. Which one is this BR tag which is not closing?
I think it's down. I think I saw down.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put the slash here to close it, and then I will refresh, then it's coming. Now there is one more CSS to be added to make it little down, because I need padding of 50 pixel, otherwise it will give this error. So I can add my custom CSS like this. I will go to the source folder. I will create a new file called as app.css, and inside app.css I will say body. I will put normal CSS syntax. I can say padding of top equal to 50 pixel, and then I will call this app.css inside the app.js. So here I will say import dot slash. Since app.js and app.css are in the same folder, I can use dot slash, and I will say app.css. Once I say CSS will be integrated in this file, and if I refresh it, you will see there is 50 pixel padding top. So Bootstrap is coming properly. And now this is a normal Bootstrap template. So now you have seen that all I have put in the one component, right? So tomorrow I feel that there should be two components. One for the navigation, it should be separate component. One for the body. So what I can do, I will put this navigation in another component and body in another component, and I will call both the components here in this app.js. So basic fun of the React is that we have to divide this HTML page into small component. I can keep the navigation in one component, body in another component. Then I can put each of this link in another component. I can put this top header in another component, body in another component. This way, the whole HTML will be divided into smaller components, and that components are self-contained component. We can use it anywhere in the website. So it makes our website component wise, and it is very easy to grab a component. Once you made the select box, you can use that select box anywhere in the website. So no need to create again that select box. So that's the fun of the React. We will do this tomorrow. We will put this navigation part in one component and the body in another component. Then we will call both the components here. Then after that, we will put this header in another component and this body in another component. And we will call both the components here. So this way we will divide the HTML into smaller and smaller components, and we can call in the bigger component. This way our website will be very maintainable, easily maintainable, and easy to know where things are. Is that clear, whatever I told?